Okay, we are. I think we're on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're live. I think I'm live. Welcome. I'm Thomas Finn Jameson. On my channel, you'll find pure cinema, comedy, reviews, and more. Today, I'm doing a wrap up for March 2021. I'll talk about films, music, and wrestling. The chat's going. If people watching want to tune in and send me any messages, feel free to go ahead. This is my first live stream on the Thai Arts channel. I've been on this channel for 8 years and decided to try the live stream. Got several things to talk about in this stream, so got my trusty juice here to have throughout the stream. So, d'accord, let's begin. So, film, music, and wrestling are going to be covered in this video. We have the live element, so hopefully I get to everything I want to get to. I'm going to start with wrestling. So this is my first time covering wrestling in this kind of format. I started watching wrestling regularly, WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair's retirement match, Undertaker versus Edge. Some people would call that underrated, that match. So I'm going to talk about WrestleMania 37. So I've been a regular watcher for about 13 years of wrestling. So talk about the build-up to WrestleMania. I think 8 out of 10 for the WrestleMania build-up as a whole. I think Drew McIntyre is on top form and is the best thing going on the men's side of wrestling at the moment. So a lot of people, myself included, would like to see a Drew McIntyre win at WrestleMania. Miz winning the title, the WWE title, and then it being a transitional champ, Bobby Lashley becoming champion. If that sets up a McIntyre win at WrestleMania, that is something I think could be cool. So McIntyre winning in front of the fans like that could be interesting. Cesaro on the SmackDown side, he will face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre will face Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Cesaro versus Rollins could be a great match. I think Cesaro deserves a push. I'd like to see him possibly win the Universal title at some point. Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum fight. That could be hilarious. So are they going to have a drum off? Is there going to be any wrestling involved? I guess we'll see. I'd possibly like to see Big E win the Universal title at some point. Apollo Crews, I think, is a bit of a meh wrestler. The Fiend versus Randy Orton. That could steal the show. Will it be theatrical like Bray Wyatt's match last year against John Cena, which was a classic? I think the storyline's been really cool with Alexa Bliss. It's been interesting to see. Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Highly likely this will main event the entire show, night 2. I would expect Reigns to win this match, and it could be really interesting. Edge's return, it's been cool. Daniel Bryan has some momentum, certainly not as much as he had WrestleMania 30 going in. The Yes Movement, well, there's no fans in attendance, obviously, so it's different, but it could be an interesting match, and expect that to main event night 2 of WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. This should be a crowning moment for Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley is the best thing going in wrestling today, male or female, in terms of the men's side of wrestling and the women's side of wrestling. Rhea Ripley is the best thing going. She should have beaten Charlotte last year in that match, I would say. Overall, I am excited for WrestleMania 37. So I do my wrestling match ratings on Twitter, some of you may know. So I'm almost at 100 with those. Stay tuned for more wrestling match ratings. There were several in March 2021. Music, I'll get to now, next item. Music side of things. Did my A Week in Albums 2, so that's 7 albums that I'd yet to hear in 7 days. So that from the 1st of March, Monday, to Sunday the 7th of March. In chronological order, here are the albums that I listened to in A Week in Albums 2. 1, Feeder, Pushing the Senses. 2, Avril Lavigne, Let Go. 3, David Bowie, Black Star. 4, Madonna, American Life. 5, will.i.am, Willpower. 6, Bibio, Silver Wilkinson, and 7, James Blake, The Colour in Anything. Looking back at that week in albums, I would say the best album of a week in albums 2, or Awea, Geordie reference 2. Best album of that week, I would say, was Bibio, Silver Wilkinson. 10 out of 10 album, also known as a Whoa Whoa Nelly. The worst album of Awea 2 is will.i.am's Willpower. In terms of the album quality, horrendous, I would say. I'd also say, it's weak, it's whack, it's totally crap. And if you ask me, would I want to hear will.i.am, Willpower again, I would say, screw that, screw that, screw that. Overall, it was a solid group of albums. Awea 2 was better for music quality than the first week in albums. The best of Awea 2 is on Spotify, my Spotify. I'll put a link for it in the description below after this stream, hopefully. On the music front, been into some Beach Boys recently. I once just bought a CD collection of their tunes, so I listened to Pet Sounds and some of their other tunes, and I might plow through their 60s albums. A Shutdown Volume 2 was really cool. I like the relaxed, cool vibe of their music. Next item, go-to tracks for March 2021. So there are 3 new entries and 1 track stayed on from February. Enjoying the video here. Carry on here on the music front. Feel free to comment in. So the first go-to track for March 2021, number 1, is J Dilla's E = MC squared. Then I would say that's a banger. A solid beat with a great common rap. Second go-to track, number 2, Weezer, La Brea Top Hits, stays on from February in the go-to tracks list, the top 4. And really, to sum up that track, I would say powerful. Number 3, ABBA, Does Your Mother Know? It's a great dance song. It gives me a sense of joy. Fourth go-to track, Justice and Simeon, We Are Your Friends. That's what you would call a smash record. It's anthemic, it's catchy, and it's cool. So, hopefully I can save this stream here. This is my first live stream on Ty Art's channel, so I'm just familiarizing myself with how it works. Hopefully there's audio and everything on your end, people watching, and that this stays throughout. So, first time here, having a bash, seeing how it goes. So now I'll move on to the next item. Film. So we'll move on to cinema now. So first thing I want to cover is Moneyball, a film I watched with family members recently in the past month. I love the moment, just enjoy the show, which references a lovely moment in the film where Keris Dorsey, Brad Pitt's daughter in the movie, plays guitar and sings to him. This film is one of the greats, I think. I love everything about the movie, how it's made, how it was presented. Brad Pitt was awesome in the film. Jonah Hill was very good. Philip Seymour Hoffman was incredible in the movie. So that has been added, Moneyball, to my Avec ma famille list on Letterboxd. Films watched with family members that were memorable. And Moneyball was memorable. Thus, it's included in Avec ma famille. Next item. So my top 10 70s films is a list I have on Letterboxd that I shared in March. So I'll run through the list 10 through 1, 10 being the bottom and 1 being the best. So my top 10 70s films, zip through. I'll put a link for the Letterboxd link in the description below after the stream, which hopefully saves. So top 10 70s films. 10, 5 Easy Pieces. 9, The Godfather Part 2. 8, All the President's Men. Number 7, Robin Hood, the animated version. 6, The Godfather. 5, Taxi Driver. 4, Apocalypse Now, 3, Jaws, 2, The Tenant, and number 1, I think the best 70s movie is Chinatown. All these films are classics. 70s is one of the great decades for cinema. Noted as a golden age for the movies. Myriad of great performances here, like Robert Shaw as Quint in Jaws, Jason Robards in All the President's Men, and Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. There's a who's who, cream of the crop, directing group here in this list. Got Francis Ford Coppola, Roman Polanski, and Steven Spielberg directed some of these movies. Martin Scorsese as well, of course. So it can be claimed definitely that the 70s was the best decade for film. If someone were to say that, I'd say certainly, it's up there, if not number 1. Directors, people like to talk about directors having a lot of creative freedom in that time. And it was just a real boom, similar to the French New Wave when that occurred. In terms of Hollywood, in the big Hollywood movies, the 70s was a real, charge, a real just highlight of great films being made, and a highlight reel of some of the best films ever made. Next item, we get to Roman Polanski films. So we saw 3 Roman Polanski movies in March 2021. Roman Polanski is one of my favorite writer-directors. So Carnage, one of them. Great performances in this movie. It's rewatchable. Great acting and dialogue. It's very theatrical. So Christoph Waltz, brilliant. Kate Winslet, Jodie Foster. A real brilliant cast. And the dialogue, I just love the way it was put together. And it's a very different kind of film, a very interesting movie. The Ninth Gate, which is my favorite movie of all time. Johnny Depp was superb in this film. I've seen some great film analysis on it, and it's really interesting to do with, I don't want to give away what happens in the film. I think it's best. I knew, essentially, it was a Polanski thriller. That's what I knew going into it. And, I thoroughly enjoyed the film, of course. Soundtrack is unbelievable. I really, really love the soundtrack for The Ninth Gate. And Cul-de-sac, another Polanski movie I watched in March 2021. Cerebral, I would say. The movie is very cerebral. It's well written. It's dark. It's set, in an interesting location. And just there's all the elements there for something really weird and a unique film, Cul-de-sac. It was interesting. And as I said, Roman Polanski, one of my favorite writer-directors. So it's cool to see some of his movies recently. So that'll cover it. That'll do for the first live stream of mine on the Thai Arts channel. Hopefully the audio has worked and everything, and I can save this onto my channel for people who haven't necessarily seen it live, but can go and look back and see the video for themselves in future. So with that, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me via links in the description below. I'd also want to mention this occurred in April, so I'll save it for hopefully the April monthly wrap-up, and I'll maybe do a live stream for that as well. If this has gone well and everything has come through okay on the other end, then maybe I'll do this for the end of April, beginning of May sort of thing, for an April wrap-up. But TFJ6, my newest compilation, shared that with the family, shared it with people online. So hopefully I'll have commentary for that online soon. There's a link for the playlist I can put in the description below this video if it saves and everything else. So you can enjoy that playlist, TFJ6, soon, the commentary, I'll give you the reasons and talk to you more about the songs and why they're on that playlist. So, once again, thanks for watching. Hope everything went okay with this live stream, gave it a bash. you know, trying something different, you know, approaching a video in a different form and trying a live stream. So yes, thank you once again. With that, I say tie, meaning take it easy. Thanks for watching, folks. Take it easy.